Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. So today we're going to do two verses. I'm going to catch up, and the verse we're doing right now is 3.34, chapter 3, verse 34. And so here in the previous verse, Bhagwan Shri Krishna had said that we end up following our nature. We have to follow our nature, and the explanation for that is that we dovetail our nature with our path to Krishna consciousness and towards Karma Yoga, where we're not doing things for fruitive results, we're doing things for God. So this one, he's starting to explain, according to Swami Mukundanand, he's starting to explain how we can control our senses. So yes, we do work according to our nature, Prakriti, and we control our senses. So let's go to the verse. इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्न वेषमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परिपन्थिनौ. The translation is, there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to sense and sense objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they're stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. So let me go explain it a little bit because it's like very wordy. So we have attachment and aversion, and there are principles. We have attachment and aversion to our senses, have attachment and aversion to senses, to sense objects. Okay, so and there are principles to regulate those principles, so we can control them. One should not come under the control of this attachment and aversion. We can control these attachment and aversion, because if we are under the control of these attachment and aversion, they are stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. So let me read out the Swami Mukundanand translation because it makes it easier. It's simpler. The senses naturally experience attachment and aversion to the sense objects. So that is clear. Our senses want these sense objects, and we naturally feel attachment and aversion to these sense objects. But we do not want to be controlled by them because, and here I will go back to this translation, we do not want to be controlled by them because they're stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. Okay, so let's go to the word-by-word translation. Indriyasya, senses, indriyasya arthe, sense objects. Rag, dvesha, vyavastitau, situated, vyavastitau. Stitau is situated, but basically put under regulation. So, rag, attachment, dvesha, detachment, aversion. So the senses and sense objects, yeah. So there are principles to regulate, put under regulations, attachment and aversion, rag and dvesh, pertaining to senses, indriyasya, and sense objects, indriyasya arthe. Tayor navasam agachet, of them never control one should come under. So we should never come under control of these things. Tau hyasya paripanthinau. Those certainly are stumbling blocks. His stumbling blocks. Those certainly are that person's stumbling blocks. So coming under the control of the attachment and aversion is, so we want to be detached. Now this has been very confusing to me. So I did this 10-day Vipassana meditation many years, 10 years ago or something. And I couldn't even really focus because they spoke about the same thing. Don't be like, the word that they used was, I'm forgetting the word that they used. But basically, equanimity. Yes, they kept saying be equanimous, don't be attached or averted to it. And I didn't like that. I was like, but I want to be happy. I don't want to just be peaceful or feel nothing. I don't want to be a robot. I want to be happy. And so it took me a while, years, to get over that and to start to understand that what I'm thinking of as happiness is not really happiness. It's not that we're not looking for happiness. We want joy. We absolutely want joy, and we get joy, and we get love. It's just that we're looking for. So what was missing for me is the difference between material happiness and spiritual happiness. So when I go after like wanting to buy something pretty or something, that is material happiness, and that does not give me the same amount anywhere close to, right? Like it's nothing. When I get spiritual joy, that's a whole different place versus getting material joy or material love even. So um so the attachment to seeing something good is not, the equanimity is not about not feeling happy and not being happy, because you do get a lot of happiness. Now in the Vipassana meditation, they're not talking about Krishna as God, of course. It's a more of an Advaita perspective, a non-dualism perspective. But here, in the bhakti path that I'm following, it's we source our joy and we source our love, the real joy and real love, from Bhagwan Sri Krishna. And when we are there, when we feel detached to the material stuff, and we focus all of our energies on figuring out how to love God, then we are able to feel real joy and real love. Okay, I think I'm repeating myself. Um, yeah, so we should basically pull our senses away from the material sense objects, and um, temptation is anything that takes away from Sri Krishna, and lust and greed takes away from Sri Krishna, with the false promise that we will enjoy. And he is saying that the guilt also is not good. It's not helpful to be guilty that I'm not doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing, or I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing that guilt doesn't help, because it takes us away from Bhagwan Sri Krishna as well. So just basically focus, just keep bringing ourselves back. We falter, we pick ourselves up, we keep bringing ourselves back. Okay, and then Swami Mukundanand here also says, so definitely the sanskaras, the past life tendencies that we have, that's our prakriti as well. We do have a deep rooted influence on all living beings, but if we practice the method taught in the Bhagavad Gita, we can succeed in correcting the situation. And the senses naturally run towards the sense objects, and the mutual interaction creates sensations of pleasure and pain, like food and all that kind of stuff. Um, so don't succumb to either of this thing. It's it's crazy difficult. I mean, yeah, it's easy to say all of this. We must practice neither to yearn for likable situations nor to avoid unlikable situations. When we stop being slaves of both the likes and dislikes of the mind and senses, we will overcome our lower nature. When we become indifferent to both pleasure and pain, we will become free to act from our higher nature. And the pain thing is a little bit difficult. Like, I have toothache right now, and it's really bad, and it's continuous. It's been continuous for so long. So I don't know how to function. I don't know how do I not feel how do I, yeah, this is difficult concepts. And I'm very, very grateful to be exposing my mind to it and bringing all of these concepts out from unconscious to unconscious incompetence, basically not knowing what I don't know, to conscious incompetence where I know what I don't know. And then slowly, hopefully with the going through the process of bhakti and going through the process of reading the Gita, I will start to understand a little bit more. And hopefully you will also be able to understand along with me, because I'll be sharing all of my learning with you as I've been doing. Okay, that's it for right now. We'll do verse 35 in a few hours. Wish you all a very beautiful day. Radhe Radhe.